There you go.
Okay, so we've come out of executive session. It is now 10:10 and the meeting is adjourned. There is no action to be taken. Go ahead and call this meeting to order. It is 6 o'clock. Welcome, everyone. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Bumper cars. All right. So I do need a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. I would like to remind everyone that this is our business board meeting. Sorry, thing signed out. Love it. This is
I
my.
should have it memorized.
You would think, wouldn't you? This is our business board meeting. It is a meeting held in public, not a public board meeting. The board is governed by Idaho Code Title 74 and Title 33, Chapter 5, the Idaho Administrative Procedures Act, and we do follow district policies. We will move on into the trust presentation for Mountain View High School. Well,
I feel like, can I put this over there?
you sure can.
Oh, yeah. Is it attached?
I don't believe so.
We're good. It's, the brakes are on, probably.
It's all good.
Well, good evening, members of the board,
Yes.
families, students, friends. Tonight, I have the privilege of honoring 5 exceptional students who exemplify the values of trust. Trust, respect, unity, support, and transparency. These young leaders inspire their peers and set a standard of excellence through their character, actions, and dedication. And it's my honor to introduce them tonight. So we'll start with Miss Kennedy Watson. Let's bring you up here. Kennedy is a wonderful young lady who is learning to embrace the spotlight. So Kennedy Watson is a student who truly represents trust. So I'm going to go through the acronym and identify how you represent each of the characteristics. So trust. Kennedy is someone who her teachers and classmates can rely on every single day. She is responsible, prepared, and consistently ready for success. Respect. Kennedy models the 3 R's: respectful, responsible, and ready to learn. Her patience and positive attitude set the tone in any classroom that she enters. Unity. Unity. She goes out of her way to make others feel supported and included, creating a welcoming environment for all. Support. Kennedy models kindness daily, looking for ways to uplift those around her. And transparency. She demonstrates a passion for learning, applying knowledge deeply and pushing herself towards understanding. Kennedy Watson represents trust in action, and we are proud to honor her here tonight. And next, we'll jump to Kylie. Kylie Barham embodies trust in her own quiet yet powerful way. Trust. Kylie is someone who someone's both peers and staff can rely on. She is often the first to volunteer when support is needed. Respect. She knows patience, and respect through her thoughtful interactions, and her quiet strength of character is felt by all. Unity, Kylie brings people together, creates connections and inclusivity wherever she goes. Support, she encourages and uplifts her peers, and her growth over time has allowed her to become a steady source of guidance. Transparency, Kylie communicates openly and honestly. As Corey Fries, probably her favorite teacher, has said, it has been one of the highlights of my career to watch Kylie grow into the person she is today. Kylie's character is heard loudly through her actions, and she exemplifies trust beautifully. Congratulations, Kylie. Selah Lorenzo. Selah is a student whose positivity and leadership brighten every room. Trust, Selah's character and integrity shine through in everything she does. Respect, she empowers and uplifts her peers, creating an environment where everyone feels valued. Unity, Selah helps others grasp concepts, builds collective success and stronger connections. Support, described as a ray of sunshine from one of her teachers. Her encouragement is contagious, and she is always ready to provide guidance. Transparency, Selah communicates openly and authentically, demonstrating maturity and leadership. Selah Lorenzo exemplifies trust through her positivity, mentorship, and genuine care for others. Congratulations, Selah. And Marshall didn't make it. But Marshall Dawson. Marshall represents trust through leadership and integrity. Trust, as a leader of the Mountain View Color Guard, he ensures the flag is treated with respect and can always be relied upon. Respect, Marshall treats everyone with humility, politeness, and genuine consideration. Unity, Marshall fosters team cohesion through his supportive and positive attitude. Support, he consciously guides others to succeed, helping peers achieve shared goals. Transparency, Marshall is honest and authentic in all that he does, modeling integrity and strong character. Marshall leaves a lasting legacy of leadership and respect, exemplifying trust in every way. And then, finally, we'll honor Braden Anderson. A student who embodies trust through integrity and support. Braden is highly trusted to get things done right, guided by his own integrity. Respect, he treats everyone with consideration and dignity, always aware of the needs of others. Unity, Braden mentors his peers, helping them achieve success and bringing people together. Support, he notices when someone is in need and steps in to provide encouragement and assistance. Transparency, Braden acts with honesty and authenticity, demonstrating a character that inspires others and a bright future ahead. And I would also like to add, Mr. Braden has completed everything for graduation early and is all done. Congratulations. So in conclusion, Kennedy, Kylie, Selah, Marshall, and Braden are not only outstanding students, but they are also role models who embody the values of trust. They remind us that character, integrity, and support for others are just as important as academic achievement. It is with great pride that we honor these 5 exceptional students tonight. Please join me in celebrating their accomplishments, their impact, and their inspiring example of trust.
Thank you.
If you like, you can leave. You don't have to stay. But we always love having you. So, thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Museum.
See you later.
Good job.
Thank you for coming in.
Sweetie. Bye, Julie.
We appreciate what y'all do. I gotta get up at 10:04. We still have to eat dinner.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Thanks for joining us. The cool kids up here.
Good night. Okay, moving on, do we have any public input? No public input was received. Okay, we will jump into the reports. I would like to go out of order and bring up the facilities report first. Just want to... Oh, I'm sorry, I was wrong. I meant transportation.
Okay.
I pulled it up.
That's all
I
right.
called it facilities. My bad.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
My name is Summer Bilski. I'm the Director of Transportation.
Thank you. So you all are having some shortage issues?
We always have shortage issues, but the only exciting thing about that is that we're expecting 2 trainees to hopefully get their CDL soon.
Okay.
And that's the best because we're all driving. I drove this morning.
Okay.
We're tired.
I bet you
Just
are.
want everybody's been sick.
Yeah,
The
there's been
sick
a lot
is
going
going
on.
around and around, and I was told there's 5 different sicks going around.
Oh,
So we're trying to deal with all of that.
okay, okay.
It's getting there slowly.
So
Yeah.
Michael and Summer and
Narissa.
Narissa are consistently
driving.
filling in right now. We have one of our subs that's been out for a little bit and hopefully returning. We also have a driver that's been out on leave and hopefully will be returning in March. So that should help the situation. Trying to support them as best we can, but
Yeah.
it would be, if you have anybody that would like to drive for the district, someone would love to talk to them.
Yes, please.
Okay.
That would be great.
How are the routes going, the new ones?
We're trying to make it work, you know, trying to make everything work as best as we can. It's a little challenging, especially since we're out
Right.
all the time, and the routes take a long time. We have to do a lot of things to it and try and maneuver a lot of things, so it takes a lot of time that we don't always have.
Okay,
And the office staff, they don't exactly know how to do that routing part, so the only persons that know how to do it is me and Michael, and we're always driving, so.
okay.
But we're getting there.
Okay.
We do have a great plan for this summer,
Mhm.
depending on some of the conversations, but Michael did routing in Postable School District, and Summer's been our router for a long time as well, so I'm super excited for them to collaborate and hopefully create some efficiencies. It's still gonna take the same amount of time to go from point A to point B. When we go out to Bayview and to Hauser, it takes time.
It's a lot.
It just is a
It's a
long
journey.
drive.
60
Yeah.
minutes.
So, but they have some ideas for some efficiencies that they could put into place that hopefully will help with some of these.
Oh,
So
good.
We're getting there.
you are.
Yeah.
It's just hard to do during the school year.
It is, it is.
Between field trips and sports trips and, just regular back and forth to
Mhm.
school transportation, it's a
And
lot.
we're starting our busiest season, so.
Yeah.
Woohoo! It's
Okay.
coming.
Yes.
It is coming, so we'll figure all of that out, but we just want everybody to not be sick and come to work and do all of that.
Yes,
Things that we're not in control of,
absolutely.
But everything else is going pretty good. Our office staff is getting good in their positions. We had to slow down on the training for the one office assistant that I need her to get her CDL because everybody's been sick and I needed her in the office, so
Okay.
I had to pull her off of training. But we're hoping to have everybody come back and then we can be there and she can go train.
Okay.
Do her thing, so.
Well, good. Sounds like you have a plan.
Yes.
And
So
that's
hopefully,
important.
yeah,
Yes.
hopefully that'll work out.
Does anybody else have any questions?
I do not. Thank you, Summer.
Thank you.
Well, I had questions. I don't know if you want me to hold it till we get all the way down there or do now so they can go. It's about busing and transportation. I just had questions.
Okay, sure. I mean, that was what, down in discussion?
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you want to go ahead and, since Summer's here,
Yep.
we can ask those questions now.
So when we hire, well, I guess it's a HR, busing, all that. So when we hire, do we ask these drivers to commit to a year with us before they leave or 6 months or anything like that? The reason I bring it up is somebody came to me and said they ran into or were talking to 2 people who did train or were training, I don't remember the exact, and they said, oh, well, what makes you want to be a school bus driver? And both of them replied, oh, I don't, I'm just here for the CDL. And then there were some others in town who came through, we trained, and they immediately left to go drive somewhere else.
So that was been a big topic because that is what we want to put in our verbiage. But I don't know if it's a legal thing or what, but I feel like we should put that in
Yes.
there. Or they should reimburse us back.
Yes.
They should be there for at least a year.
Yes.
For that whole school year. And because I know for a fact that has happened before. And outside, if they get their CDL, that costs us $2,500 and above. Therefore, I want to make sure you're going to be here for us, not just to get a CDL and bounce and go somewhere else. But that is not
So we've been
my
looking
decision.
at a couple different ways to do it. One is to have them pay up front, and then after they've completed a year, we can reimburse them for their tests and all that stuff. That's not as ideal if it's a cost prohibitive thing to have them come on board. So the other thing we were looking at is if they didn't make it the full year, that last paycheck withholding the amount of the cost of the tests and the licensing and stuff, to reimburse the district for that expense. We don't charge them the same that they would be charged if they were taking it at any of the truck driver schools or anything like that. They get a pretty great deal for being here. But with them being a classified employee, there's not really much of a consequence other than us recouping the costs that we have for them.
What is the
Well, I
cost?
think we definitely need to put in the contract, they owe us a year. I have no problem onboarding them, training them, all that, but to train them, I mean, it's not just the money in the district, but that all the families lose out, right?
Absolutely.
Because then they're waiting and they think, oh, great, we got 2 new people. No, the 2 new people just said they're only here to get the CDL so they can leave,
Right.
because it's free to them. So
We would love that.
yeah, we need them to commit or
Yes,
pay.
please.
You know, because here's the thing, we want you to commit. If you can't commit, we don't want to train you because we need them to stay,
Absolutely.
right?
We're training them to be a bus driver
Exactly.
for us.
Yeah, I had no idea. And then I learned that we have a huge pool of relief drivers and all these other drivers that we've trained and used. And I mean, so where does it come back? The district footed everything for them and now they can't hop, I mean, they're a relief driver, right? They're a this driver, a that, I mean, that's just craziness. If those people, if a call, in my opinion, if a call is made and said, hey, we're down, we need you, you're on the board as a relief driver, and they say, no, well, thank you very much for your service to Lakeland, we will remove you.
So we are also talking about implementing that there's so many drives that they have to do per year to stay on the relief driver rotation. The tricky thing with relief drivers is we have to get them in and get them a CDL 9 times out of 10 in order for them to even be a sub driver for us. And so again, it's that same commitment. We need you to do X number of drives over the course of the school year. Otherwise, at the end of the school year, you're not a sub driver for us anymore. We can also implement the same thing where we potentially just charge them back, but if they're not working for us consistently, there's no way to recoup it via a last paycheck with them.
Well, you can put it on their credit and recoup it. I mean, that's the bottom, well, it's too bad, it's the bottom line. Our families are losing out. We have trained hundreds of people that have left. And now they're out driving, and some are driving other places, but still on our relief list. They couldn't drive for us, right? It was their story, but yet we still employ them as a relief driver? No.
This is a new thing, though.
Yeah.
In the past, they have always held their seniority, and I don't like
We're
that.
not doing that.
If you're not going to be able to drive for me a certain amount of time, so we kind of figured out a number, and I would like to have a conversation with them to let them know that this is going to be the new
Yes.
ordinance to it. You have to drive for me in order to keep that seniority, in order for you to keep your
Yes.
spot. Because if you're not going to do that, and I understand everybody they have full-time jobs somewhere else, some of them, but if that's not going to be the case and you don't see that in the future here, then I need to remove you. The problem is some of these people, every once in a while, we are strapped and they will come through for me.
Well, that's
Every
great.
now and
You
then,
know
but-
those people, though.
Right.
You know, and
And-
you know the ones that don't, right?
So we're definitely putting processes in place. This is one of the things that when Summer first took over,
Yes.
that we really want to clean up and make super transparent to everybody involved, to the expectations, the commitment, what the training requires.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
just not
getting it
fair to
in place.
anybody. It's not fair to all the drivers,
Oh, it
the
isn't,
students,
yeah.
the community. I mean, it's, especially with as much lately as we've struggled. And then our transportation costs just keep going up, and I mean, we're just gonna have to, in my opinion, have to buckle down. And I have no problem, with them having to commit a year,
So I will work with our HR director and our legal to just see what the wording looks like for that commitment paperwork, and how we can enforce that with a classified employee.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's got to be a way. They do it in the private sector, so there's got to be. And
They do.
Yep.
I can't imagine that. Does every district operate the same way, where the drivers? I was under the impression that Coeur d'Alene had some other kind of commitment. I'm not sure. I didn't look that far. I figured you guys
So
might know
from what
that
I
answer.
understand from Post Falls, they have some verbiage, or it's an understanding when they are signing their onboarding situation, but I don't know.
Yep, we'll
Okay.
source that.
Yeah.
All right, I appreciate that. Yeah. That was pretty much all my questions. I didn't understand. I mean, to me, I was blown away, and I thought, no. that's
Yeah,
not-
Is that
know that
something
was
we want to
going
put
on.
into policy,
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
rather than just a
Yeah.
contract, but maybe a
Absolutely.
policy?
Yeah.
That way, they have more
Of a teeth.
of a backing
Yeah.
to
I'll see what we can find for
enforce
that.
that.
Okay. And bring it through policy committee.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right.
Any other questions for transportation?
No, thank you for
Thank you for
everything you're
coming.
doing
I
over there.
appreciate it.
Sure thing.
Have a good night.
Thank you. I'm gonna go eat dinner. Thank you.
In the spirit of that, we'll go ahead and bump to facilities.
Okay. All right. Here's your report.
Now, I do have a question. It's just, me, my words. Your sampling of projects, does that mean that there's a whole bunch more going on that we're not privy to? Or, I mean, I realize that for you to be like, okay, we're doing this, that, or the other all over town would be an astronomically long list, but I'm just curious. The projects in progress, if all of those that are on our radar that we know, I mean, to me, the project should have, it shouldn't be like replacing a light bulb. It should be a workload, no, that you're fine, a workload that we're doing.
So Tim Hague, Facilities Director. What I've done is just kind of put together some of we had 169 work orders that were completed last month.
Okay,
And so what I was trying to put in here is just kind of a sampling of some of the work orders that we've been worked on. So I should probably kind of change that to sampling of work orders that are in progress or completed over the last month. As far as projects that are in progress, right now, we're just still in the planning stages for the summertime.
Okay.
So there's really no major projects going on right now.
Okay,
Right now, it's a lot of chasing our tails with the heating systems and electrical issues. But I'll change the wording on that, make it a little more clear.
that's okay. I was like, I meant to ask for a while because I found it interesting that we chose to state that, so.
Sampling.
Sampling, yeah. Did you write that down? Okay.
Does anybody have any other questions for facilities?
No. Thank you, Tim.
We did want to know, I apologize, the John Brown parking lot along Washington.
Oh.
We did want to bring that to the board's attention. We'll bring it as an action item at a future meeting. But Tim, do you want to talk to that?
Yes, so I put that under the upcoming project, so.
I see that.
You probably are already aware, the city is gonna redo Washington Street over the summer. So basically, they're gonna turn over Washington Street to the contractor right at the end of our school year.
June
Which
8th, yep.
we're working on right now is how we get access to our building.
That's a good question.
I think I got that figured out now. But they are gonna do curb to curb all the way down Washington. So our parking that goes along here is part of the city, city street.
Easement.
Easement, thank you. All the way down on the other side of John Brown. Cougar Gardens is ours, and the area here in front of John Brown is ours. So I've asked them to put that in as an alternate bid if we want. They haven't actually put it out to bid yet, so that's what we're bringing to you to see if you would like to do that. They estimate if they do this in conjunction with the street itself, it would be about $50,000.
Okay,
And that's a full tear out,
Report.
report, and striping.
okay.
So
We can bring it as an action item at the next board meeting. We
Right.
just wanted to bring it to your
just
attention.
wanted to bring it to your attention. And that if they do add that as an alternate bid, we're not committed to it by any means.
Okay,
It's just more to get us a little bit more accurate pricing on what it would be so that we have better information for the board.
And one of the things that, when I talked to the city, one of the things that they're gonna do when they're working on the street here is try to change some of our drainage issues that we're having. And that's on them. That's
Right,
not on us,
right.
but I thought it was nice that they addressed that.
that would be great. Yeah, I was a little confused when we received the information because I thought they were wanting us to help pay for. I'm like, wait a minute, no.
That's
So
on them.
That's what I thought, but I'm like, what are they doing now?
No,
So-
if you remember, we had that tree in the parking area, and that's just a gravel spot right now.
Right.
So that parking lot could definitely use some love.
Facelift.
Absolutely.
Right.
Love facelift.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Absolutely.
Any other things for facilities?
No, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving up to the superintendent report. Does anybody have any questions or comments on the report?
Nope, I do not.
Okay. Moving on from the superintendent report to the assistant superintendent report.
If possible, can I highlight a few things on here?
No.
Quimby, you're killing me.
Please.
Jake Massey, Assistant Superintendent. Just wanted to bring a few things to your attention. The first thing is that, just a reminder that the new ISIP, which is also the same as the IRI, is a brand new test for us this year. And so I just want to be personally on the record to say that there is more variance than what we typically see month to month in our tracking of that. because we're really playing around with the test administration itself just to see what gets us the most accurate result in our students. It's a little bit of a different assessment than what we've ever given before because it actually requires the students to read to the assessment and then it grades their reading errors.
Okay.
And so obviously whenever you have a classroom of 25 plus students, you pick up on other voices and different things like that. And so we're just fine tuning that, if you will. And so there's more variance than what we usually see. The second thing that I want to highlight here is that with the MAP growth test, which is something that we talked about at the beginning of the year with our SIP planning tool. Just to be very candid with you, we're finding that this test is just not really the best use of our time. It's not aligned with the outcomes that we would like to see that help us to make purposeful improvements to our instruction right away. As I noted in my report, we take it very seriously that if we're taking instructional time away from teachers and students, that it is very purposeful.
Yep.
We need that assessment data to be able to adjust our instruction, and so we're looking into some other options for next year.
Can I make a suggestion?
Please.
Just because the frustration for me is when I look at the data, it is just a small window. It's not the overall, it's not the whole picture.
Right.
And it would be great to have an understanding of, like, how many kids are passing in this class, how many kids are, we're not given that information. We ran these children through a test and, they either hit the mark or they didn't. And while I'm not pleased with a lot of the percentages in here, understanding that there's reasoning behind why the percentages aren't very attractive. If we had something to say, okay, maybe the test, because I'm not just an assessment person at all. But look at, the children are where they need to be grade-wise in their
passing
classroom.
their classes,
they're doing their
passing
work,
their
they're
tests.
doing, we don't have that information. We just have, okay, look at how poorly they did on, we've only got a small portion over here.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand the value of the assessments, and I think they are a tool.
Yeah.
And I know that our SIP plan is dependent on these assessments, but as a trustee, I'd like a whole picture and not just, here's the data from the assessment and it's, it is what it is. And there's all these other factors inside of it. I would love to see how many children are actually thriving in the classroom and they're doing their homework, they're passing their grade. Because the teacher has weight in that. The teacher knows the student more so than a computer test.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that statement completely, absolutely. And those are very fair points and fair questions. And in-house, that's something that we are constantly looking at. Pass-fail rates, how are students doing on their end-of-course assessments that we own and we create.
Right.
And so if that's something that the board would like further insight on, I would be happy to help paint a more complete picture, if you will.
In all fairness, would that be something that's going to be time prohibitive for you or whomever's going to be tasked with throwing the information into a report?
I'd be concerned what that report's gonna look like, that's it. I mean,
It would be a pretty big lift the first time we did it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm confident to say that once we did it the first time and had a template and a format that we were comfortable with, just like we've gone through with finance and other departments.
Absolutely.
That would be something that we could repeat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because I wouldn't imagine that we would master it on the first go. No.
Yeah.
But I also don't want
Start small and just keep kind of adding
Building
or,
to it.
or building up to.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and what I really appreciate about that request is that we want our patrons to know that too.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
Candidly, this has felt a little bit, funny is the wrong word, but a little bit interesting presenting just this very high level summative data because it isn't necessarily always a complete picture.
Right. Well, and I appreciated your input that, this doesn't reflect the entire class, just a select few or this, that, or the other, which, okay, but that's not telling us the health of our kiddos. It's just jumping through a hoop, and now we have numbers, and I don't like the numbers, so give me something else.
Yeah, we'll get you new numbers.
Good. Make sure they're accurate.
No, I think that.
Yeah, as long as they're accurate, it's all good.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding with you
Make it
guys,
up.
but I do think that you know where I stand on this. We have very impressive programs here in Lakeland, and we
We do.
have students who go on to do phenomenal things, and so we are always delighted to bring more evidence of success to you, if
Yeah.
that's what you're interested in seeing.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, we can do that.
Because
So-
I think it would benefit the community
Yeah.
to see that success as well, not just these standardized tests that not everybody thrives under.
Sure.
Especially when you watch the four that came up to receive the awards, almost all of them were like, do they talk to the computer in that same way? Who's evaluating what they say other than AI? Which is what this has been handed over to. I just got an article here right now. And Dave and I talked about it a little bit before I even got sworn in, but why we went from a paper test to a spoken test to computers when, like computers in school, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that you'll have to take up with the state of Idaho.
I know.
But, I will say a couple of clarifying things. This test does only count for K-3.
Right.
And so it's the littles that take this. Some things that we do value in the way that it is administered right now is that, there are plenty of opportunities for error whenever AI is doing anything. And so we make a lot of allowances for that. But this program so far seems to be giving us pretty actionable information based on their reading errors. And so, fine-tuning the administration of the test aside, we talk about using our instructional time wisely. This test has really allowed us to do that because we're getting instant feedback on exactly what those errors are, and so that we can provide the most immediate feedback and intervention for those students. So there are pros to this test as well, but it's different.
Well, and I do want to clarify, the scores that I felt were sad were under the iReady math. And that I do not understand why it is so low. Respectfully, it's just an assessment, and I get that. So for that, I would love to have supplemental information of just, granted, we're only at, in the fall, we were at 11% at Apple, and now we're up to 31. Okay, well, what are those kids doing in their classroom in the sense of, are they thriving? Are they passing? Are they getting it? It's just not being reflected in the test.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it will be great to dive into that together because I believe that the latter is true. I think that they're getting it, and we have plenty of evidence, and these tests are very difficult, nationally normed standardized tests where they're computer adaptive, and so the intent is that you don't get 100. In fact, the expectation is you don't, because it's going to continue to get harder with every question that you get correct. But again, a very fair point and something that we can totally explore.
Well, the iReady is something that we implemented, 3 years ago? 4?
Oh, yeah, 4 or 5 years ago. Yep.
Yeah, and it was supposed to be this uber woo-woo, and I'm not impressed. So I've heard more and more and more grumblings over the iReady math program. Just throwing that out there.
Okay.
So
it's
bothersome.
Okay. I would love to follow up with you on that.
Perfect.
Okay, just to get some more information, because we talked about this at the beginning of the year as well in that SIP planning meeting. That's an area where we're really putting a lot of energy this year, math specifically. We have already paid for a lot of iReady and the training that they provide.
I know.
At the elementary level, I can speak to it very specifically, and it's been incredibly effective instruction for us. The test is challenging. The test is challenging to interpret, and it's long and difficult for kids. But again, that's something that we're putting a lot of energy into this year, so I'd love to hear what your thoughts are and what you've heard.
Okay,
Okay.
not a problem.
The final point, and I have taken up too much of your time already. Would you mind scrolling down just a little bit? Thank you, Olivia. Just
Safety and security.
Safety and security, yeah. So as I'm sure you read in this report, we were a little bit caught off guard to see that our Board of County Commissioners is proposing what they call a full cost recovery model for our 3 Kootenai County deputy school resource officers. And so what they're proposing is to switch from our current contract, which is we pay 70%, they pay 30%, to now us paying 100% of the loaded salary, which is salary and benefits, plus a 25% overhead fee, which would cover their equipment and vehicle and training, administrative costs. We never pretend like we can negotiate for the board, but I felt pretty safe making the judgment that that's probably not something that we're going to swing.
Right.
And so Mr. Taylor and I have met with a couple of the county commissioners, been able to ask questions and just seek information. We absolutely want to work together with all of our elected officials and community partners to make sure that we understand the whole problem and understand where they're coming from. Mostly I want to make the board aware that we're having that conversation.
Thank you.
We want to be very careful to stay in our lane on this, and at the same time still do our jobs that we have promised to do, and that is to advocate for these programs. That partnership with the Sheriff's Office is one that has served us very well in Lakeland. And I feel like our Board of Commissioners needs to understand how important this is to us. And to our taxpayers. I mean, they have voted multiple times on levies that support the safety and security program as it is running right now.
Well, a chunk of the population goes to the schools, so the sheriff's department. I mean, people go to work when their kids are at school, and so
Yeah.
there should be some county.
You guys maybe reach out to St. Mary's. And they are teachers there. And I know a lot of people don't like that idea, but it saved us a lot of money. And I know there's people that probably would be willing to do it. They get the same training and everything, have to go through everything, same as an officer.
They'd have to go through post academy?
Yeah. No, not post. They would do the same training as they do for our guys, background check.
For our
guys we
district
hired.
safety
Yeah.
specialists. Okay.
Until maybe we can get more guys added on as a safety specialist or SRO and hire our own at our price.
We need a sprinkling of those people.
Well, and I don't know if you are aware, but in the beginning, Kootenai County came stating that we would be paying a percentage of an entry level. And then at some point, without getting it in the MOU, we have been climbing the financial ladder of the person. So, I mean, I think there are a lot of perspectives that can be negotiated on if you're really going to look at. But I think you should back your truck up and see where we started with them financially to where we are now. I mean, the bottom line is it's tax dollars that pay their salaries anyway, whether it's coming from the county or whether it's coming from the school district. But I would hope that you could encourage them to understand that what they're asking us to bite off, which the levy does not support, number one, is, what we pay them is two teachers, so we could have 6 teachers in place of not minimizing their position, and our ADSSs, I don't think make enough. But when I look at what we pay them, and then we're double over here for the county, that's a big pill to swallow, at least for me, because I don't.
Well, and never mind the
think it's
fact that we
appropriate.
don't use them for 3 months
Correct.
the year. I mean,
Yeah.
they're not our employee for the entire year, so how can we be expected to pay 100%? They're doing other stuff during those 3 months when we aren't in school, so.
Right.
That's,
Yeah, and that point was raised about, like, where do we stand if we're paying 100% of the salary plus we're paying for their stuff? Like, that's,
Right.
who are we even contracting with at that point? Are we just
Right.
hiring somebody? So a piece of this conversation that I want to be very sensitive to make sure that I understand and get right is, as I understand it from the commissioners, there are multiple overlapping taxing districts that they represent. School districts, municipalities, all sorts of different things. I just want to make sure that the voice from school districts is heard so that there is not any double dipping going on, to Trustee Broadhead's point, with school districts. Because there are plenty of other taxpayers who shoulder what operations at the sheriff's office cost as well.
Right.
So,
So I guess my other question to them would be all those other districts, taxing districts,
yes.
that they have relationship with, are they bumping all of them now to 100% also? Because that was the other argument we always had,
Yeah.
you know? And to tell you the truth, I think we just need to cut our ties with the county. Because as time goes on, and watching their meetings and what's happening with the sheriff's office, and then we're trying to keep kids safe, we just keep paying more and more and more and more, every year. It's
Yeah.
more.
Yep.
You know, more percentage, more dollars, more this, more that, I mean, and we could hire more people.
For
You
this,
know?
for the sake of us having a productive conversation with them moving forward, is it fair to say on behalf of the board that we will not increase the amount that we're paying?
Correct.
Okay.
We went to the public. We asked for them, this is what your money will pay for. I don't know where we're going to pull out the balance, and so, no.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the clarity on that.
No.
We would assume that as the answer, but I appreciate the clarity in a public meeting, because
Right.
now we can go and say, hey, this is our line. We would lose our contract if this increases.
Yeah.
well, and we understand the value of that partnership with, I mean, just think about what Deputy Wheeler was able to do for the missing kiddo in
Right.
Athol, that maybe
Right.
one of our ADSs might not have had
Yeah.
the opportunity, the resources to make that connection
Right.
Yeah.
so we understand the value of it, but we can't just keep.
And I feel the same way, and I'm glad that you emphasized that. The value that we have out of those SROs is
Tremendous.
tremendous.
It is.
I mean, it would be very, very difficult to replace it, so.
I thought we were supposed to keep our SROs, jobs posted.
Yeah, we
for-
were.
The
That's what we-
ADSS.
ADSs.
I don't see any on here.
How many do we
Yeah,
have?
Do we have that still posted?
No, I was asked to remove it because what was happening, I'm sorry, Fort County County Director of AHR. So what was happening is I was getting applicants that was coming in, and then nothing was happening because we weren't hiring. And so I was getting like major nasty emails from candidates saying, well, why do you even have it posted? That's unethical if there's not a job available. And so previous administration asked me to go ahead and remove it.
Was there a lot of interest?
No, there wasn't. And so, I mean, it's hard to even get a good candidate
Right.
pool. And so, I would probably get maybe one or two in there a year, and then they would keep repeating, and then they would call, and then they would get upset. And I know Olivia has also fielded some of those questions as
Maybe we
well.
could do a hiring campaign for that specific position, like once or twice a year, rather than just keeping it perpetually open, but maybe just.
That would be best.
Just, like, we're gonna
Months.
bite the bullet and try and hire another
Right.
one.
Right.
Which is what we want to do, but
Yeah.
if we don't have the money to fill a position.
I mean,
then-
and just like the fire department, I mean, they do a recruitment every like once or twice a year as well. They'll just do a mass
Right.
recruitment. And so I think that's probably best, just maybe if you can get something like that out there.
What
be honest with you, our hope, and Jake and I have met with the county commissioners, we have one more to meet with, and our hope is that, we can find a medium spot in the sense of no more additional monies, but maybe there's a degree of overtime that they're paying out. Well, then there would be no more overtime, or they would cut monies in that sense. But obviously, our position would be, that's fine, but we cannot support any further additional dollars. That's pretty much what we've said to them, but right now, Jake says we're just listening to them right now and understand their justifications.
Did we ever get reports from them? I know we had asked about it before of what, because that question had come up before, how much time, have they been here versus doing something else kind of thing?
Yeah, Trustee Grissom, they're actually working on putting that together right now, specifically for this conversation, actually. And so I'm not aware of any previous report that they've done for that.
No, there wasn't.
But we should have one here in the next little while.
Yeah, okay, yeah. We should be keeping track of that just to make sure. Because really, if you look at the total, $500,000, I mean, that was for the entire transportation department, the money that we asked for. I mean, that was, that's a pretty big chunk,
Yeah, absolutely. So, are there any other questions on that?
No, that's okay.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You don't have, if they're not in every location, then there's a timeline to get anywhere where there's something like that. So it's a reactive force of.
No.
We also have
There's no
SROs from
presence
city.
in a lot of the schools.
There's only one, well, so the SRO for Rathdrum covers John Brown, Betty Kiefer, and Mountain View. We have ADSSs at the Lakeland Middle School and Lakeland High School. We have an SRO for Garwood. We have an SRO for Twin. And
We have a Spirit Lake, City of Spirit Lake SRO up in Spirit Lake
Correct. We have a
Elementary.
police officer from the City of Spirit Lake at the elementary there. And then we have the other county SRO is between Timberlake High and Timberlake Middle.
and then Apple has their own.
Oh, yeah, and Apple has their own ADSS, which is our district employee.
Yeah.
And ADSS is because I did not like the term armed guard for our learning institution.
I like it.
You would.
Scares people.
Oh, well, sounds like we're in a prison, and that bothers me. All right, so moving on to the financial report, unless there's any more questions.
I do not.
Okay, perfect. Moving up to the financial reports. Do we have any questions, comments, or conversations that we need to hold? I did.
I guess I would just ask Jessica, how do you think we're doing? I see there's some overages, or are we just waiting for money to come in? And I'm sorry, my notes weren't, they were notes to me that made sense at the time, but, so the plant facility fund, is that overspent?
It's not overspent.
Okay.
We actually have quite a bit of money sitting there.
Okay.
Just waiting on some of the projects that we're working on right now. So we actually have a pretty significant, I would say, fund balance there. Just waiting to do carpet, and there's some expenses that were charged to the general fund that I need to get moved over to the plant facility levy. They were just coded incorrectly.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm
So
seeing.
that's part of what you're probably seeing in the general fund, is it looks like they're pretty much have spent their entire budget, but there's a couple things that we need to move over to the plant facility levy bucket.
Okay.
So I'm working on getting those cleaned up.
Oh, okay, all right, that's probably what it is then, because my other note says, well, the other must be the big chunk of money.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
okay.
the 436 year school modernization fund, that looks like a relatively healthy balance as well, but please know we will spend, I would say, probably 65% of that this summer on the projects that are slated for work this summer.
Okay. So are we overspent or over on anything, or we're running neck and neck? Because I had another one with the
Not at this time. The
Okay.
general fund, just remember, I do have to do a couple budget entries for the
Okay.
revision for the budget that we've talked about. For some of the positions that we added, I need to add that into those line items. And it's also gonna just look funky in a couple of those because we do have expenses that we move out at the end of the fiscal year that will bring some of those balances down. So right now, your Medicaid fund, the revenue is going in there, but no expenses yet. We move those at the end of the year when we know how much money we actually have for that, so we get that transferred at the end of the year. So just trying to get those cleaned up as well as we get through closer to the end of the fiscal year. And just a reminder, in April, when we accrue payroll, because we're on accrual contracts, it's just gonna look like we have a ton of payroll expenses in April, but really we don't. It's just accruing the remainder of those contracts. So April always looks funky.
Okay.
Could you do, potentially journal entries, moving those funds like quarterly?
Yeah.
So that it
Yeah,
would give us
chunks
a
away.
little bit,
Yeah.
rather than just doing it all at the end of the year?
Yeah,
You could just do an adjustment at the end of the year if you
Yeah,
were.
the easy ones for us to move are like some of the special education agreements that we have, so like our cheerful chatter for the SLPs and things that we have, those are easy for us to just say, oh, this is how much we have, we'll go ahead and move those. The ones that are a little bit trickier for us is identifying which people from our para population that we want to move over, but we can do that, that's not a problem. So I'll work on getting those quarterly.
Thank you. That would just give us.
Yep. I do have some positive news that I didn't get a chance to put into my update. We did not budget any revenue for federal forest funds because we keep getting told that it's potentially going away. It's actually the U.S. government passed legislation in December to fund it for the next couple of years. So we should see some funding, hopefully before the end of the fiscal year, and go back into that bucket that we didn't budget anything for this year. So it's probably still not going to be as much as it was in years past, but it's something, which is always nice to be used. And just a reminder for that budget, that federal forest funds, we typically use that on those kind of one-time expenditures because it's not a guaranteed pot of money to do things with. So cool.
Do you know about how much we
Not
did
yet.
on those?
Nope.
Okay.
In fact, I actually sent the bill to the state because they were still waiting to see something. I had gone and researched it myself and saw that it passed, so I had sent it on to them, but they haven't gotten any information just yet from the feds. So we're not so patiently waiting for that information.
Give us our money.
Pretty much.
The LHS irrigation,
Yes.
we're seeking quotes.
So that is the hillside, I'm gonna probably quote it incorrectly. We set aside money in the plant facility levy for that very brown patch of grass off to the, I think over by the bathrooms, correct, Tim? Got the expert right here.
So that's the area where, again, Tim Hague, Facilities Director, that's the area where the city cut our water line for the
The new meter.
irrigation and put in the meter, and then we had to wait to put in the backflow preventer.
Okay.
So there was a budget to do irrigation in that field, which is basically in front of the bathrooms, behind the tennis courts.
Right.
And we hadn't been able to do it because there was no water to actually hook up to.
So now we have water to hook up to. The tricky part now is the quotes that we've received to run the irrigation there, it's about $12,000 more than what we have money for. So we're seeking some additional quotes to try and get it back closer to what we've initially budgeted for that project.
We had to spend.
We spent almost $6,000 on a backflow
On the
preventer.
backflow preventer.
On a meter that we were not expecting to be installed. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Yes.
You need to start
Did-
charging
did
the
we
city
have
for our
agreement? I just-
facility use.
Yep.
Yeah, well, did we have an agreement with all that?
So the only thing that we receive free irrigation on from the city is the practice field, correct? At Lakeland High School. Otherwise, they're
Practice
actually.
and baseball field.
Baseball field, but that's not ours anymore, it's the city's.
That baseball.
Oh, that baseball field, okay.
So what's the water cost usually a year for the baseball field and football field?
For those right now, those are free to us, but they, in the last MOU that the board signed, they were using this year as kind of a baseline year. And then after that, if we go above and beyond that, then they'll charge us the difference. So we're still kind of in that information gathering baseline year because they've never been metered before, so they didn't really have a basis for saying this is how much it is. There was several meters that were installed throughout the district that we were not expecting. They put one on the concession stands here at the Lakeland Middle School. There was one over the one that they installed on the practice field, the football field, and that new spot that we were trying to get sprinklers into.
So are you telling me that they went through the district and installed meters that we had no heads up about until like they showed up to do it?
They had given us notice that they were going to come out and put it in, but they didn't have an exact date. I think they were actually waiting on materials.
Okay, so they installed on our property causing us costs.
Correct.
Yes.
On their water line that we
Yeah,
were
so
using
we
for
should not
free.
be liable for that cost. I think somebody needs to talk to legal because that should not be, I've been through this with a nonprofit one time. The city tried to, or they started coming completely through the property to put water line in. Yeah, that, I mean, for them to come and put in the meter, fine, that is theirs, right? But when they damage our, cut our water line, whatever happened, and then we incur more cost.
The sprinkler line that they cut was to the parking lot area, so it's
A dead line.
It's a quick hook back up. What cost me money was the backflow preventer. So they put the meter on, and then we couldn't use the water again until we put a backflow preventer on. Had there been no meter, we would still be hooked up to it.
Right, that's what I'm saying. We incurred costs that we had no idea, we couldn't budget for. At least they could have did was gives us a heads up. They're sort of grading me the wrong way this last couple of years.
They did say they were gonna put the meter on, but we had to wait.
Yeah, maybe you can give us a follow-up in an email. I'd like a timeline of when they said that, and I really think somebody, once you get all the ducks in a row, I really think somebody needs to maybe contact them or definitely contact legal, because I don't see how they could come in and we incur more costs for their equipment when we've been operating just fine.
For many years.
Yes.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me.
That's because water rates are going up, skyrocketing.
And if I recall correctly, there was some sort of litigation with water meters and cities not charging themselves for water.
Yeah.
And
That's
so
what it
there's some
was.
sort
That's
so they actually had to put meters on their own property and they write a check to themselves every month. That's the funkiest thing, because they have to charge themselves for water, so they're paying their own
Because it's
water
an
bill.
enterprise fund, that's
Exactly,
why.
yeah.
They
So-
have to
Came from the
pay
state.
from the
Yeah,
general
yeah.
fund.
So
Enterprise
in
fund.
that process, anything that they were watering now had to be metered. So that's where the meters really came
Yeah,
from.
that's fine, but I can't, that's all them.
Yeah.
That had nothing to do with us. We should not incur costs because they got a judgment that said you have to pay attention to the law.
Tim will follow up with an email with a timeline, and I'll be happy to reach out to Megan and just see if there's anything with that information that we can move forward with.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Any other questions or conversations for Jessica on the financials?
Was the food service on there too, or was that?
Yes.
Okay. I did have a question about that.
Okay.
What happened in food service? Kids just quit eating, or what?
It's just been a reduction, and we've seen a huge reduction in the number of applications that we had for free and reduced lunch.
Oh, gotcha.
In fact, at some of the schools, only 10% of our population has completed that free and reduced application. So there's families very potentially that could qualify for a reduced lunch rate that just haven't completed it. So we're working with our principals to try and help identify where we can get that into families' hands. The tricky thing with that form, it requires some pretty personal information, and families just are not comfortable sharing that.
Right.
Your social security number, your size of your household,
Right.
how much income you make a year, and so that's just an uncomfortable thing. The other thing that we're finding is some people are filling it out incorrectly, because the form can be a little bit confusing, so it looks like they're making way too much money when in fact that's not. So we're just trying to do some education on that. We also had one of our secondary schools have open campus lunch for their freshman class, which hasn't happened in the past. That's not the bulk of this, but
Yeah.
it is part of the reduction. Is we did have, for lack of a better term, a captive audience of kids that weren't allowed to leave the building, and so
Right.
we were able to meet their needs for lunch. Now they can leave the building, and so it's just had an unintended consequence on that mealtime for that specific school. So we're tracking all of that. Char and his assistant Carrie have done a great job of pulling that information together. They have sent out several surveys to families and to students, trying to kind of gather some information to see where we're missing the mark for them. I can tell you they've done a great job of doing, at our request per the RFQ that we did for them to go out to bid, that they won. We are asking for more from scratch, less pre-processed stuff. So they've been doing a great job. The calzones have been going over really well at the high school. They're trying to make sure they have enough options. One of the other things that they did is they added an additional breakfast and an additional lunch at the elementary schools, and that seems to be going over fairly well. It just started 2 weeks ago, so we don't have a ton of data on it, but just trying to make sure that we're offering enough choices that kids want to participate. I can tell you, I have to go out to every single school every year for lunch, and every school every other year for breakfast. So I have seen the beginning of the year French toast sticks to the end of the year French toast, and the kids love the new one so much more. So it's been fun talking to them as they're eating, like, what do you think of this? And we've got new chicken patties and stuff like that. So there's a lot of stuff that they've done really to try to make things more palatable for the kids. And I can tell you, one of our board members' grandkids are now eating more school lunches because they enjoy the changes so much. So that's very exciting. So we're working on it. We've identified the issue, and we're just really, he's working very diligently to increase those participation numbers. So
I have one more question.
absolutely.
So, what was that Northwest Bus Sales? Is that the charter buses?
Northwest Bus Sales.
Yeah. Activity buses for FY 2025. It's all the way at the bottom.
Is it in Fund 421?
It's the very last page.
Literally
of
last
the-
page at the end.
At the very, very bottom of page 64.
Oh, thank you. I'm like, where are we?
That was the purchase, repair, replace Lakeland Middle School exterior doors.
Oh, so yes.
Why is it
So that's Fund 421. 421 is your board-approved projects. So that's where we did the window siding and doors for Athol, Spirit Lake, and Lakeland Middle School. We had brought to the board during the fall of 25, so last fiscal year, asking to purchase those activity buses from this fund. Because we had the money available. So those buses are the activity buses that you see that have the wraps on them.
Yeah.
They're definitely in use. They're being utilized heavily, which is great. But that's where the expenditure came. Since
Gotcha.
this fund spans so many years and it's the same project over so many years, that's why it's kind of hanging out on there. We've actually completely wrapped up the final payment on the payment and pulling the bond on that last project. That's that 85,000 that you see for FY26. So we do have a fund balance left in this fund of about $188,000 that initially was a transfer from the general fund to out of fund balance from general fund to this fund for specific board approved projects. So this is one of those places that I might come to you and say, hey, we need $50,000 to do a parking lot at John Brown Elementary. Can we use this money for that? So as an option. The other option is we can close this fund out and transfer that money back into the general fund, put it back into the fund balance there, or use it for, as the board sees fit, for construction and maintenance projects.
Where
So,
does our fund balance sit right now?
we're holding pretty steady. Right now, I'm projecting that we'll stay pretty flat, barring any crazy things, building burning down or anything like that. I know.
Quick, right?
So, but yeah, at this point, we're projecting to be pretty flat, which is great. So we ended the year last year right at 4 million. I anticipate we'll stay right at around 4 million for this year, barring any major payout on our major bills or anything that we're not expecting at this point in time.
Okay.
A question.
Yeah.
And it's probably for facilities. I'm curious now. I just can't believe it costs $6,000 for a backflow valve. What size is that? An inch and a half, 2 inches? What is it over there?
I want to say it's a 3-inch,
Main.
3 or 4-inch main.
Oh, really?
Line.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
It's-
spendy.
And it'll have,
And that's meter, so is it reduced or that's a full?
so what it has, you have, excuse me, you have the main line that comes out
Right?
at 90s. It has the meter hooked up there. On the back side of the meter, we've hooked up the backflow preventer.
Right.
And off of the backflow preventer, it's neck down for smaller irrigation projects and
okay.
things like that. So it is a pretty
I just
good
can't
sized
believe- Where
line.
did we get that valve from?
That was Sawyer Plumbing, because they had to install it, because again, we had to permit it, we had to pour a concrete pad for it. And we stabilized their meter.
You're not helping us.
Oh. I'm not happy about it either, because they
Yeah,
took
me
money
too.
out of
It's
my
not
budget
fun.
I know,
to do the irrigation.
I didn't realize we poured concrete for that one. Oh, geez.
We did it in-house,
Yeah, okay.
but,
That makes sense.
and they used a notch 2x4 to hold up their meter. So we fixed that for them as well, so that it didn't fall
Oh, we
over.
shouldn't have done that.
And we changed it to the fence so the kids couldn't stand on it and
That's nice.
bust it, and then we have a 4-inch water line blowing water all over the place.
Preferably never have that happen.
No, that's why we secured it and did our part.
Because you're proactive.
Yes.
We can track some of those costs just for
Well,
the
I've got
big-
them all.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I think we need a full picture of what we incurred for this, you know,
And it actually put my project behind a year,
yeah, for this.
because we had to wait 6 months for the backflow preventer to come in.
Yeah, because I don't think that anybody on the board anticipated any of this. I mean, we remember hearing about it, but it was just, oh, we're gonna do this, okay, you know, like it was no big deal.
It was a big shock.
Who's responsible for, like, say, annual inspection of the backflow
We're responsible for
We
making
do
sure
that.
they're done and then getting submitted to the
every
appropriate route.
year?
Yeah.
We
We have
do
to
them,
we have
all
to
of
pay
them.
somebody to come out?
Correct.
We blow out our own lines, which is
We
great.
do blow out our own sprinklers. We
But-
did have one city that tried to accuse us of contaminating their water system.
Oh, Lord.
But we have backflow preventers on there that are inspected annually, so that
It
actually
wasn't us.
saved that,
Yeah.
from us being blamed for that.
But we do have to get someone to come out and certify the backflow preventer every year.
do.
So that's what we can turn the water on, we can
It's
get
just
that
like a
going. It's just
homeowner.
having somebody
Right.
come in.
You
and
have to
Do we
get
certify.
have
that
anybody,
inspected.
we don't have anybody certified in
No,
backflow
and I don't
assemblies?
think you're allowed to inspect your own.
Well, we
Yeah,
can
you
look
are.
into that.
Are you?
I think,
You are.
yeah,
Yeah, there's an exam, I mean, there's
Yeah,
training and
there's-
a
Well, if there is,
licensure
I'm more
exam.
than willing to get Adam
Tim's-
Okay.
certified for that.
Tim's always happy to get certifications over there.
My guys, the more they can do in-house, the better.
Yeah.
So we can look into that for sure.
Glad you're taking this.
I took all the notes.
Certification.
Right.
Our new clerk's doing a good job over there too.
Good.
Okay, thank you.
Can I answer any other questions? And I just wanted to give you a heads up on the utilities report. We do have our new accounts payable specialist, and so she's working on utilities. So when we get to that, I just have a question for you on how you would like to see the presentation in the future.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, so we are done with the reports. Moving on to the consent agenda, we have executives, we have the minutes of the previous meeting, the minutes of the subcommittee meetings to be accepted, HR items, resignations, applications, bills list, bills breakout, and utilities. Are there any comments, questions, etc. on any of the minutes? There was one for me. Just need to find it. Apologize.
I do not have any, I just have to check through my notes, I thought I did, but.
Yes. On the, that's what it was. on the January 21 meeting, you didn't stay in executive session. Okay, it states that you did. At the bottom, unless I'm reading it incorrectly, which that's always a possibility. Where was it? It was. Oh, okay, maybe it's, because, now I get it. You put the attendees of of each session, and then because there were no attendees on N.2, then.
Right, then they
Oh,
didn't
okay,
leave or come.
all right.
Yeah.
So you're, good job.
Good? Okay.
You're, good job. Yeah, I read that, and I'm like, no, she, I
No, I
think
was
she
gone.
left. Okay, so that was my only comment. Anybody else have any questions, comments on the minutes? Minutes of the
not.
subcommittee? Please, okay. How about the HR items? Or HR items, the memo, resignations, applications? What about the bills list?
No, ma'am. Move to approve as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries.
Is now appropriate time to ask about the utilities?
Oh, sure. That'd be great.
Oh, yeah.
I apologize. Jessica Grantham, Chief Finance Officer. I don't think I introduced myself earlier. We do have a new accounts payable specialist, and she is just curious for the presentation of utilities. Do you want current year and prior fiscal year, 2 fiscal years? What kind of information would you like for comparison? We're trying to make it more user-friendly, easier to digest. We just want some direction on what you would like to see with that.
Which one are we on?
Utilities.
So it's H4B. So they do look a little bit different this month because she had started to make some changes and then stopped wondering what you guys wanted to see.
Right, and in all fairness, the reason we started getting the utilities reports is because the cost of utilities was astronomical.
Yes.
And then because we pointed that out, then we discovered, oh.
Water leaks, all the fun
Yeah,
things, yeah.
there's a problem, so then we got it fixed.
I do monitor those on a monthly basis. I monitor the utilities as well to just make sure that they're in line with the last couple of years, except for the outliers where we know something was broken. So we are staying on top of that pretty quickly. Be happy to continue to bring it to you. It just at your pleasure.
Well, and yeah, the utilities are just water. It's not like,
Yeah.
well,
Sewer.
Water,
water
sewer.
and sewer. But
Water,
there's no-
sewer. Yeah, we can bring you electrical and gas if you want. But
I mean, do we still need them?
No,
Okay.
I don't.
Ramona, do you still feel they're valuable to receive?
Like they are here?
Yeah.
Or at all.
Well, I do think they should be available to the public somewhere. And I do
Okay.
think we should be aware of them because that's how we got into the issue with nobody realizing for a
I know.
couple of years there was a water problem.
Would you
Right.
be okay if I just include it in my financial reports as the miscellaneous reports at the end instead of part of the consent agenda? So you're still receiving the information, it's just as part of my financial report every month?
That's fine with
Fine
me.
with me.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, I can make that change. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And then just for comparison data, is 1 year or would you like 2 years with the current year?
I think one is
One.
fine.
Okay,
Just-
okay,
yeah.
perfect, awesome, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Did you motion to approve? There was a second by Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Did I do a vote?
Mm-hmm.
I did,
Yes.
okay.
You did
we're
do a
moving
vote.
on.
You're- yeah.
Perfect. Totally blew me
Just
away.
an autopilot.
Jessica screwed you out, Bob.
Yes, I was lost.
She came up after the fact.
All right, we'll move on to the action items. The Custodian of Records Handbook. We are revisiting this. I know that it was tabled. due to,
Mine doesn't want to open right now.
oh, lovely.
But do we have the comparison for this work that was done to create the retention schedule? Do we have the old one to compare it to?
We should.
Yeah, I can't open anything right now.
Mine's not, it's
I
just not
can't.
opening.
Wow, mine's not down.
Yeah.
That's a plus.
I have a hard copy if anyone needs to see it.
Well, I know that Trustee Grissom wanted to make sure that there was statutory language in there.
Right.
On top of the fact that the first time it was presented, it was really different. I am a little concerned about the footer that states this document is the official policy of Lakeland Joint School District and supersedes all previous versions. I don't think that's, it's a handbook.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I think it's a work in progress. I don't know that it's complete, you
This is
know?
draft.
Especially with all that formatting, to me, that just
yeah.
makes it look too busy, too much, too, you know, I think it needs to be simplified and, you know, difference between what the custodian of records does, processes, step A, B, C, D, what's actually a document, what is not a document, what does it mean? You know, there's a lot of those things, and then there's the law, you know, the statute. Oh, you got yours open now, let's see.
We need to nominate her as clerk and custodian, and we didn't put that on the agenda. Totally forgot about that. But that's okay. We can do it at the next meeting. I do, you
Give
do,
her-
you do. Or no,
Yeah.
I do, we do, you do. Is that how it
Yes.
is? Or we do, whatever. Yeah. There's a lot of do-dos.
I usually,
Wow.
That was fun.
Sorry, Ramona. As I'm looking at this, because I was going to task Sarah with when she felt comfortable enough to kind of dive into the custodian of records job description, seeing how it's aligning, make sure everything is copacetic, and then bringing it back. Because we do have a policy for the records retention, and to my knowledge, it was not changed. I know it was, format was worked on. So,
8605.
excuse me?
8605.
Oh, thank you. So, if we want to table this again, I don't think it's gonna make or break
no.
the custodian of records at the moment.
I mean, one never existed, so.
I know, it was created,
Yeah.
so,
So it's looking, I mean, it's getting there. But yeah, there's a lot of updating that needs to be done.
okay. So I'll go ahead and move to table the custodian of records request,
A second.
of records request handbook. All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. And I would just recommend, Sarah, if you can keep this on the radar, maybe in a month or two, let us like revisit, that'd be grand. Okay, then we have the clerk of the board job description. I did make some changes that I would like to see on the job description. Did anybody have any input or whatnot? On 9, under the qualifications, models integrity, authenticity, and transparency, and then after it was bracketed qualification. I don't know if that was just sort of a oopsie, we forgot to remove it, or
Probably.
okay, so yeah, that can be struck then, and we can just remove that. I lined out on item number 4 under performance responsibilities. To my knowledge, the minutes have never been sent to the board members prior to the board meeting for review or discussion.
No.
The minutes?
That's what it says on number 4. Keep full and accurate minutes of all board meetings of the board and send a copy of minutes to each member of the board prior to the next regular meeting. That's never happened.
No, and it's probably maybe a leftover from.
I was gonna say, I think we did for a little while.
Did we?
We were getting them.
We're I'm director of HR, so yes, when, years and years and years ago,
Right.
when I was the clerk, that was a practice that I would draft those minutes.
Okay.
And I would send them to the board for review prior to you guys putting them on the agenda to approve, just in case there were errors or whatever, that those could get corrected. So that was the practice back then.
And that was back in the day before recordings and all sorts of fun stuff.
That was pre-COVID, and so, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I'm fine with just receiving them on the agenda.
Yeah, because we get the agenda in
Yeah.
advance, so
Right.
we're getting them in advance. We're
Right.
just not
Not getting a
each
separate
getting
copy,
a
yeah.
specific copy.
And then I just sort of shored up the language with what we have in our policies. So does anybody have any questions or concerns about some of the changes I'd like to see?
I thought this was there are great changes. I thought this was everybody's input. No,
Nope, just me.
Well, you did great. I think
I kept saying, please, pick a color.
Yeah, and you had made the change, that
everything we talked about.
you know, the stuff that I had brought up last
Okay.
time, so yeah, no, I was totally fine with it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
what I thought the same when I read it. I'm like, perfect. This is great.
Okay,
I think it reads well.
all right. So on that note, I would move to approve the suggested changes for the clerk of the board job description to go into effect immediately.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Did you raise your hand? I didn't see.
Yes.
Okay. Good. All right, moving on to plant
Try not to hit
facilities.
you when I do it.
Dave hits me all the time. It's
Oh,
good.
okay.
Great. Okay, plant facilities levy resolution request. A resolution request, okay. All right, so district leadership is requesting the board authorize to proceed with the development of a proposed plant facility levy resolution for future board consideration. Okay.
So we're pre-asking for permission to go to legal to draft a resolution to bring to the board for approval to submit by the March 13th deadline in order to have it placed on the May ballot this spring.
Oh, so you want to do it in May?
Yep.
Okay.
There's several reasons behind that.
Okay.
One of them is to separate, we do not currently have a plant facility levy in place. That lapsed at June 30th, 2025. We did not opt to run one in conjunction with the supplemental levy last year. So we currently do not have any funding coming in dedicated directly to deferred maintenance projects. With that being said, the plant facility levy you can run for a span of 1 year to 10 years. And the amount that we're asking for is well below the threshold to only require a 55% vote, positive vote to pass it. Asking for it this current fiscal year, it would start on July 1st, which would allow us to get some projects going for next fiscal year before the end of the summer. We laid out quite the extensive list of projects that we need to do. And we're asking for 5 years to keep it off of the same cycle as the supplemental levy. So we're not constantly going out every other year. The last one that was run was only for 2 years. And that one like I said, it's expired at this point. So if we have the ability to run it for a longer length of time to allow for not having to have it out so many times for voter approval. We tried really hard to outline a laundry list of projects that are deferred maintenance and major projects that need to be done based on the work that was done with that facilities analysis that we did for the school modernization funds. And the other thing I want to point out is we're spending the bulk of the modernization funds this summer, and the rest will be gone at the end of next summer. And they're for very specific projects. To remind the board that that money was for projects that would have a greater lifespan than 7 years. With the plant facility levy, it's a 1-year lifespan. So as long as the improvement lasts more than a year, we can use the plant facility levy for that. Having it in that plant facility levy, we're not allowed to use it for salaries and benefits. We're only allowed to use it for those deferred maintenance and capital asset items. So you can purchase vehicles, you can purchase buses. We don't have buses in there right now, but really it's all of the things that we need to do.
Things that have been neglected over the last 10, 15, 20 years plus.
30 years.
30 years.
Yeah, so really
Right now,
just,
sorry.
Go ahead, Tim.
Right now, I'm living off the interest from our plant facility funds.
And our school modernization funds.
Or, yes.
So we've supplemented the general fund this fiscal year by doing a transfer from our school modernization funds that the board authorized. So part of it was as part of the budget hearing. The other part of it was to offset facility expenses to free up some money to purchase social studies curriculum. We did not use the interest to purchase social studies curriculum. We're offsetting facility expenses as required. So we've transferred a bulk of the interest that we've already received on that school modernization fund to offset facility expenses this current fiscal year. Without a dedicated revenue stream, we are never going to get anywhere, and we will be dipping into fund balance to cover any major problem that we have. We just don't have enough money in the general fund right now to really take care of our buildings in the manner they need to be taken care of.
What was the timeline for spending the school modernization funds?
We have up to 10 years on it, but given the scope of some of the projects, I think the thought is we spend it and get them taken care of, because that's the reason that we were given the money to use for those needs. Some districts are in a better situation than we are, and they're using that money to build an elementary school. They got a lot more than we did because they have more students. But a lot of them, in fact, we actually had a conversation with our CM this morning, our construction manager. A lot of the districts are all going out to bid at the same time right now because we're all trying to get these projects done. We're all spending that modernization money right now. So trying to take care of the facilities, because that was the intent of that money, was to make sure that we could take care of those facilities projects that we just haven't had the money for.
To good stuff.
Well, and
good or perfect.
eyesore over here that the public keeps driving by, we want to make sure that was fixed.
Are you talking about John Brown?
John Brown.
Okay.
Yes. I guess I shouldn't point. Yeah, John Brown. And a lot of the HVAC systems.
HVAC is a huge thing.
And electrical, like the middle school is a huge electrical issue right now.
Yeah, we've got electrical issues at
High school.
the schools that we have prioritized to do this summer are the schools that absolutely need to be prioritized to have the work done this summer. But based on the sampling of projects that we've given you, because we've kind of outlined a 5-year budget based on $3 million over each of those years, we can show a demonstrated need for this funding in the district. I think it is something we have to educate our taxpayers on what the difference is between the school modernization funds, how we can use those, what this is for, highlight the projects that we've done over the last couple of years out of the last pot of money that we received. But that's essentially our ask is if we don't do something, especially not 100% sure what JFAC is doing this year in regards to K-12 public education budgets, we just know that we need more money for facilities than we currently have available.
Well, we've always had, here's the thing, is we've always had plant facility levy, and you see the condition, right? Mm-hmm. So saying that the plant facility levy will fix it, it never fixed it before. The other thing is, I understand what you say about educating the public, but what were you speaking about, the electrical and the HVAC? That would come out of the modernization funds, correct?
That is,
Okay.
that's what we're using,
Okay.
the bulk of the modernization
Yeah.
funds
It's
this summer.
HVAC, electrical, and then window siding and doors over at John Brown. We're
Yeah.
doing some exterior doors at Lakeland High School.
Mountain View,
Mountain View is getting some doors, and then Lakeland Middle School.
a lot of electrical
A lot
and
of-
their heating systems in the classrooms
Yeah,
that are outdated,
we're
not
replacing
working.
all the heating systems at John Brown
John
and the
Brown.
classrooms as well.
And then the roof.
And then what
That's
about,
Just Lakeland
Lakeland High School.
didn't, yeah, I don't need to know about that. I'm trying to wrap my head around this. Didn't we set aside funds at one point for John Brown? Remember, we kept coming back and John Brown kept getting pushed off. What happened to
So
that?
we brought it as part of the board workshop for the plant facility levy for the previous round that we have. And then at that last board workshop on, I think it was July 18th of 2024, we had set a budget and projects at that point in time, and John Brown didn't make the cut at that point because we only had $1 million for the plant facility levy before, and that would have taken the bulk of the money to do that building. And
know
so
the
we prioritized
concrete-
parking lot, concrete. We were able to do playgrounds at Betty Keeper and Garwood. We have money set aside for carpet. We did the window films at the schools that didn't have the window films on the new windows. There's a laundry list. It's a report in my monthly financial report. That laundry
Yeah,
list
I
of
don't need
things
to
that we
know all that.
had.
I'm trying to wrap my head around what happened with John Brown.
Yeah, so it just never was approved to be, to go ahead at that point in time.
Just ran out of funds, right?
We ran out, it's not even that we ran out of funds, it just was gonna be such a huge draw on the funds that we had. And if you remember, you guys took a field trip over to Lakeland Middle School, got to see the bubbling carpet that we replaced, that kind of stuff. And so we really prioritized some of the quicker projects, the needs of the many versus the one building, with those funds that last go around, so.
Do you have, I mean, 3 million isn't a huge thing for this whole district, but do you have any idea what the taxable asset value is of the district?
Yeah, I actually do.
So it gives it gives, so many dollars per thousand.
Yeah, so we could actually ask for, I think it was up to 21 million and still stay at that 55%. So with plant facility levies, they're kind of funky because if you go over a certain percentage, so that 3% is 55% vote to pass, and then it kind of goes up from there depending on how much you're asking for. I'd be happy to follow up with a little bit more additional information on that structure for it. But we could ask for up to 21 million and stay within that 55% voting authority. However, for the,
Or are you asking about how much it's gonna cost
Yeah.
per
How
house?
much per thousand?
100,000. Yeah,
Yeah,
per
give me
hundred.
Because that's
one-
what the taxpayers are
yeah,
gonna
give me
ask.
1 second.
Yep.
$30 per.
There's a worksheet on the website.
I
that-
have it, I have it.
That was for
calculated
the
too.
last one, and you can actually go there and
Type
figure
in
it out
your home
yourself.
value.
Yeah.
Enter your.
John
Sorry, I
Brown's
didn't
siding
realize that.
project was moved over to
Right,
the school
that was there
modernization
either.
funding.
So it is getting done this
So
summer.
that it wouldn't consume
Mine is
everything
still
that we had
blurry.
set
Reading
aside.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it is getting done
And,
this summer,
um,
the John Brown sighting.
Right.
Yeah.
But we moved it out and over into the school modernization funding,
Okay,
so, yeah.
so it is being, so it did,
Yeah, it will be
okay.
done this summer.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha, okay. Just
had a
because
meeting
it was
this
brought
morning.
up, so I was like, well, I thought we already decided something. What do you mean?
We did on that one.
Yeah.
We're good.
Okay, so my other question is, why did you use the statute 337018? I don't know why you gave that to us. So 33901 is facilities, and,
Oh,
It's $30.24 per
$30.24.
Per
per
100,000.
100,000. So I apologize. And then the statute question.
Yeah, 3371.
yeah, so the, I just don't understand what the 337018 subsection 8, because 33901 is the plant facilities and 33804 is also plant facilities.
That's probably a typo on my part. I
Okay.
apologize.
Well, I thought maybe I was missing something.
No,
Okay.
it's, I can be happy to.
But I
correct
do
that.
know why you probably were reading that,
Mhm.
because it has to do with submitting an adjustment to the budget.
Yes. So-
Okay. I was like, are we doing that too? Okay.
And I'm just curious why the recommendation is coming from district leadership and not the superintendent.
Who is district leadership? I thought we were supposed to get a list of all these committees and stuff with who was in them. Did we get that?
I don't know.
I'm sorry, by all means, I can provide that. District leadership, because we're a team, we came together, discussed the concerns of the district. Obviously, more importantly, was the interests that we were using up, as I expressed to the board in one of my updates, that we were using it. And we wanted other options in regards to how to approach this, because obviously I treat it like a home. If you don't take care of your home, if you don't fix the things like your roof, your fascia, things like that, they just rot away and they end up costing you more money in the long run. So that was the conversation. Jess and I, she sent me the proposal and I said, hey, look, everyone had kind of a say in it. If you would prefer that it be through me, by all means, I'd be more than happy to ask.
I suppose I should ask for clarification. Are we going to receive more things with the recommendations coming from district leadership and not you?
No, ma'am. It'll be through me.
Also, in the past, usually we had a priority spreadsheet from each superintendent from each school that the board looked at, so we could see like what they thought was important, or they
So
might
we
need.
did incorporate that. So Tim did.
I reached out to every
Reached
school.
out to every
But you
school.
didn't give it to the board, is what I'm saying, and in the past.
We didn't, I apologize.
Okay.
So thank you for the clarification. In the future, I'll make sure to bring those to you. We just wanted to present kind of a timeline budget for you. So in that, we had looped all those projects in. But in the future, for future requests, we'll make sure to bring those as a separate addition to the packet.
That's how, I mean, in the past, that's how the decision was made. All of that came to the board. In fact, at
Right.
one point, when we had needed clarification, we had a meeting with the
Facilities.
principals
Yep.
and facilities, yes. And that's how we came up with the list. Because it's been my experience that a lot of times what ends up on what needs to be fixed isn't really, you know, there were more pressing things, or maybe linked to the culture, a better culture, or whatever, you know,
So-
with the school. So I just want to make sure that,
We did look at our, like I said, that analysis of the buildings. We're still working off of that building analysis, and that's why there's money set aside for plumbing and electrical and HVAC, and money for roofs, because we do need to get on a better roof rotation than we currently are. Those kind of things. And so, again, I appreciate the clarification. I will make sure to bring those building level requests directly to you with this information. We were just trying to present kind of an overall picture based on the timeline that we know we have for deferred maintenance, for what kind of fits in each of those years and stays within the budget.
so in here, did they include the clocks in Athol? It would be nice to have a working clock in the school.
Yep, that would be part of the electrical there at the school.
Yeah.
So we have money
I'd
in
like to
each
see
year.
a line item, because I want it checked off. I don't want it rolled into electrical and then something happens with it, if we're gonna do this going forward. That's why I'd like to have the
And ideally,
spreadsheet.
it would be nice to sit down with the board. We did this knowing what we needed to for some of the major projects, but for some of the money that we have set aside for some contingencies or building repairs and things like that, we would always love to have a board workshop to make sure we're getting your priorities as well. Just with the timeline on this, it's just a little bit challenging, because we do have to have ballot language to the counties by March 13th. And so I don't want to say we're
Otherwise you-
late to the game, but
Yeah.
just wanting to, that's why we're seeking tonight, just permission to even go to legal to get a resolution put together for the board's consideration at the next meeting, for approval or not.
And if we don't do it for the May, then we're in November? Or we have to wait?
I ideally, we can do it at any of the elections. Ideally, we would like to separate it from the supplemental.
Yep.
One of the other options that we have is we could always add more money to the supplemental specific to facilities. You just don't have the same constraints with it because you can use it however you see fit for facilities at that point. You could use it for salaries and benefits if it's part of the supplemental levy. The plant facility levy just is a little bit more stringent on how you're allowed to use those funds.
I
Yeah.
understand that. The money is for the maintenance of the buildings.
Yeah.
I get that. I'm just saying, so if we don't do it in May, the
We
next option
could
would
do
be.
it in November,
Yeah.
or we could do it next May, but I do want to remind the board our supplemental levy also expires next summer, and so we would potentially be going back out for another supplemental levy next spring, and so it's ideal to maybe not have both of those initiatives on the
Right.
ballot. It does, I think, create some confusion of this or that when you're looking at it. So that's why we're just trying to kind of create some separation there. If we don't do it this May, we will not have any money next school year.
Yeah,
If we
our
do it
interest
this
money dries
May,
up.
we'll have money as of July 1st, so.
The language that needs to go on the ballot, is it
Mhm.
itemized like this?
It won't be, the plant facility levy is a little bit more, just that yes or no question with that kind of very,
It's not like.
it doesn't have to be as detailed as the supplemental,
Okay.
but we would like to use similar information like this to present to the community, and we can talk about a communication strategy for it if that's the desire of the board. But I do think it's important to, I feel like after our last supplemental levy, that the community's been very vocal. They want to know what we're doing with it. And so that's
Absolutely.
really why we were trying to put this together, to show we have a plan. It's not just because we would like some money, we have a plan for the money, so.
Well, and I would like, I mean, if that's the direction we go with the supplemental levy, we had originally said, this is what we're going to spend it on. We need to show that
We
we
do.
have and are spending it on those exact things that the voters
Yeah.
voted
So
for.
I actually have Idaho statutes that I have to post in the paper every June, how that's being spent. So I do track that. I'd be happy to add that as one of my reports that we post to the website.
Absolutely, and I
problem
would
doing
rather
that.
do it in a lot more places than just in the newspaper, because nobody reads the newspaper
Agreed,
anymore.
agreed.
I mean, I know that we legally have to in the
Legally,
paper,
per statute, I have to
Yeah.
put it in the
but
paper.
I would like to make sure that all of our constituents
Yeah,
see
so
that.
It's
People's
definitely,
parents.
I can play with putting a report in the monthly financials, maybe right after the general fund, that shows, those general fund charts that I have. I could play with putting a report right behind it that shows the levy amount and how much we've spent year to date towards that levy amount. So I don't have a problem doing that. Okay.
I do think that, not that it's needed before March 4th, but I do think we need to have a workshop to discuss their priorities versus the board's priorities of what we have asked for over years and years and years and years. And now we're in 2029, that maybe it might happen. So I do think that that's a need if we choose to go after the plant facilities levy.
So all we're asking for tonight is permission to engage legal to get the ballot language and the resolution for the board for consideration at the March 4th meeting.
So what is the increase from the last time we had a plant facility?
So the last plant facility levy was $1,046,000.
And this is 9 million?
It's 3 million a year.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
15 million over 5 years, which is a drop in, that's less than what the state gave us to do projects with. But that money will go in 2 years, so.
Lots of neighbors on fixed incomes, and so that's something they like.
I don't think it's anything anybody likes.
It's just unfortunate we don't have a better funding mechanism. It's really challenging. We don't charge tuition like higher ed does, so it's like we don't have a revenue stream that we could necessarily dedicate to this, so.
It's 30 $33 per 100,000.
It's $30.24. That's what it's projected at the, yes,
Per
per 100,000. I
100,000.
apologize, per 100,000.
Per
So if your
year.
home, if your home is $300,000 based on your assessed value minus your homeowner's exemption, it would be $90.73.
Not per thousand.
72 cents.
In
Am I
addition
math
to
in my head
what-
correctly? Per year.
Okay.
So per year.
It's
Per
per
year.
year.
So that would be less than.
Divided in two
Yeah.
because you can
Yeah,
pay.
the
It's like
glass per
$10 a
thousand.
month
Yeah.
for average home.
Yeah, it's not terribly
2 cups of
high.
coffee.
It is high, I understand your
Okay.
statement. I do understand that, but in the grand scheme of things. And then the one other thing I would like to remind our board is the, I'm gonna call it the wrong thing. The school district facilities money that we receive, essentially that property tax relief money that we receive. The order in which that's applied, it goes to bonds, which we don't have any, and then it goes to plant facility levy, and then it goes to supplemental levy. So in theory, any of the money that we receive for property tax relief, if we have a plant facility levy and a supplemental levy, that property tax relief would go off of the plant facility levy first, so it would reduce the amount for that. In turn, it increases the amount on the supplemental levy because then we're
Right.
not offsetting the supplemental. But any of the property tax release funds, that's kind of the, how we have to apply it on our L2 that we submit to the county. So yeah, $30.24 per 100,000 at this time. That could, per year.
Yeah, I think I asked per thousand, and
Yeah.
so I
It's
was
$3.
really seeing.
It's like $3.02. $3.02
Harder
per,
sell.
yeah.
Yeah, $3 per
Yeah.
thousand.
I think if I can do
30
move 30 cents per thousand. I can't move my zeros enough tonight.
Yes.
I don't do math in my head. Can I just tell you that? I do it on the computer all day long and I've lost the ability to fully do math in my head, so,
That's why we love spreadsheets.
yes.
And if we could tell people that divided by 12, it wouldn't, it would be even
Yeah, it's
That's
not,
why
yeah.
I've counted mine out to about $10
per day.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and if
11
you
cents
break,
per
if
day.
you break it down per student too, it makes sense too. If you take the amount and divide it by the 4,600 students we have in the district, it really reduces the amount that, if you put it per student. So,
Big numbers are scary.
I
They are.
agree.
Absolutely.
And, yeah. I was totally shocked by the budget here, you know.
Oh, yeah, it's big.
It is, but it isn't, because for the general fund, that's slowly gone down year over year, but then we have more money in other funds that make it look like it's staying pretty status quo. So,
Sorry you have to have a newbie once in a while.
oh, you're totally fine. I love talking about it, so
Yeah, I
ask
think
away.
That's how you learn.
Yeah, that's how you learn. More importantly, the questions you ask are what your constituents are gonna
Public
ask.
standards.
Okay, so good for you.
So your consideration is doubling mostly what we had previously.
So we can actually make some
And then running it
traction.
for 5 years.
We would love to make some traction on these deferred maintenance requests. Needs. It's not even, the money that the state gave us, that school modernization fund, just barely scratches the surface of what we need to really take care of.
Do you all have any thoughts or considerations on this?
No, it's just gonna fall apart if we don't take care of it.
True. And the
I
reality
agree,
is,
yep.
we don't have the funding mechanisms in place to support without, unfortunately, taxpayer dollar. So we're kind of between a rock and a hard place.
We could do a gun raffle.
I did research on that.
Do a bazooka rifle.
I love the ideas, but I don't know that it's gonna get us 3 million.
Still planning.
Better be a really
Those are what
big
you're
gun.
after.
Yeah, exactly. I don't
A
know,
tank.
where are you getting a tank?
I will,
Down here on,
There's one over there, yeah, I saw it.
wherever.
In Post.
in Post Falls, yeah.
Post Falls, I saw
yeah.
it.
The VFW.
I will move to approve district leadership move forward with going to legal to get this resolution started.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you
board.
so much.
We really appreciate it.
Moving on to the supplemental materials. Do we have any conversation, questions, concerns on the materials presented?
Nope.
No.
I move to approve.
Oh, second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Moving into discussion items. We did already cover the bus driver contracts and hiring process. Okay, moving on to administrator communication.
So did some of the people, so did some of the people in the review, did you read the spreadsheet?
One of the books is Ramona Quinn.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna ask
Yeah, I
if there's
did.
any kind of like
I got a little chuckle out of that
chit-chatting
too. I was like, oh yeah, I remember that book, yeah.
Okay, administrator communication came back to the discussion because you wanted to talk about it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know how we do this, but I want to meet with all the principals and the department heads quarterly. I'm not asking,
Okay.
so
I'm
it
listening.
needs to be done. I want to hear from the people on the ground what's going on.
So with that being said, we are in February. When would you like to meet with them?
Next month.
At the first meeting, which would be on the
Yeah.
4th? Okay.
Or the 18th.
The 18th is a regular meeting.
Okay.
The 4th is,
It's an executive session.
okay. And then are we having all of them come or
Yeah.
are, okay?
I think so.
Whoever can make it, or like what's?
What would you like?
I just want to hear from principals,
Okay.
the department heads, on what we need without any filters.
Okay.
Just as a reminder, you guys do have the IBB workshop scheduled for then.
Okay.
For the 4th?
Before.
Oh, did we do that?
We did do
I
that.
keep
Yep.
forgetting that myself.
Okay.
It's not on the calendar, or am I in the wrong, oh, I'm in the wrong month, ha ha ha.
There you go.
There it is.
Oh, yep, I have board meeting / workshop.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, we could tentatively, or we could pick its own date. I mean, that's not a problem either.
Do you want it to be a separate meeting?
Yeah. It doesn't matter to me, I just want to hear what's going on in the district.
Okay.
So, clarifying question. So, the directors and principals, we want a summary of how things are going in their departments and in their schools. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yep.
Sounds fair.
Well, we could pick another day, can't we? I mean,
Yeah,
instead of
absolutely.
Do it like the following week, the 11th?
Like the 11th?
The in-between week, yeah.
Yeah, we can do
That's
that.
fine.
Okay.
What time? It's a
6.
Wednesday.
6.
Probably 6 p.m.
She's back.
Just seeking clarification. I missed the last board meeting, I apologize. But we need, which meeting would you like me to bring the resolution and ballot language to? I didn't realize that the 4th became an IBB workshop. It's due to the county, so would you like to see it on the 4th or on the 11th?
We can sit on
We
the
could
4th.
still see.
Okay,
Yeah.
We're still having a meeting, we'll
Okay,
just.
I just want to
go
make
to
sure
a
that we
workshop
can take
from there.
action that night, so I just wanted
The
to double check.
anticipation is that the meeting will be small, and
Yeah.
so then we'll break from the meeting and go into the workshop.
Okay,
So
Okay.
bringing it forward on the 4th is fine.
okay, thank you for the clarification.
You're welcome. Alrighty. Okay, so we'll add that, the
6.
11th. Okay, thank you.
11.
Yep.
And you guys are just doing an executive session, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, IBB. Again with the words. I just want to be clear that interest-based bargaining is a process that we do to obtain the negotiated agreement. So, I'm a little bothered that we're being invited to begin interest-based bargaining and that the board is going to establish a date and time for the initial meeting, but then the IBB team gets to pick the meetings after that. That has failed in the past. I'm not up for that. And I do understand the intention is that the LEA is asking to enter into negotiations with the board. However we choose to do that is irrelevant, but I do want to thank Jason for a readable report. That is great. We haven't had those in the past.
So they're asking that at the next
At the workshop?
we
Right.
establish a date and time.
For the initial meeting, but then the subsequent meetings will be determined by IBB team.
During that initial meeting.
So the people that are,
The IBB team gets to do that. I'll reiterate again. The negotiation is between the board
Right.
and the LEA. And we've lost complete sight of that. And I don't want to continue down the same.
With just one person, and just because a body's there, the board had something to say?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like that either. I think the negotiation needs to be with the board and the LEA.
Right.
And that's it. Obviously, we would need information from HR and finance, like we always do,
Right.
you know, but yeah, I agree with the one person that basically just sits there and whatever decision is made, it's the board's decision.
Yeah.
So at our workshop, I understand they're asking us to do that, but I guess we can decide at the workshop if we're at that point. I don't know until we get there.
Okay. Fair
You
enough.
know, I mean, depends on how, you know, how much do we get done at the workshop? Are we gonna,
Well,
need more time or what
Well, I would
have you?
hope it's not commandeered, but you never know.
Yeah.
Yep.
that's the other question I had. What would you like? What subjects would you like? Would you want to go over the negotiated agreement? Do you want to set dates? On the workshop, I just kind of need to prepare.
Well, it's for the board. I
Right,
mean,
right,
I don't
well-
need anything from you. The board needs to bring up the agreement and we need to talk about it.
Perfect, I just needed clarification. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
That was my understanding, so the board can actually get to work on this and whatever else, so pick up where they left off last time, I guess.
Yeah, that would probably be a good idea.
So if we just make sure we have, I think we still have access to those documents. Do you still have the documents that you guys modified?
Last board meeting, we did get the board copy of the negotiated agreement. That was the copy that,
You guys worked on?
I think so, but all the changes, I think, were gone. It had been cleaned up, so.
And you don't have a copy of that?
No, I thought
Okay.
it would.
Board Chair Thompson?
Yeah, yeah.
There was one that was dated board copy, and it was a July date, I believe. And it was the one with the preamble. It did have all your changes in there.
Okay, good.
So, yes,
Perfect.
that did not change.
Oh, yay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hate having to go back and compare and see what did I say or not say.
Right, yeah, no, that's all of your revisions.
Perfect. Okay, so we can pick that up at the March 4th workshop. All right, moving on to the superintendent evaluation. I asked for this to be put on because the board would like to hold Rusty's evaluation in March instead of May. When I brought this out in agenda planning, Rusty went back and apparently at the November 19th board meeting, we had tabled Rusty's, okay, I have to completely backtrack. In the beginning, when Mr. Taylor was hired, we asked him to find a form because we did not really necessarily care for the superintendent form that we currently were using because it was real convoluted. Mr. Taylor took it upon himself to create a program for us to use for his evaluation. And then that was kind of a shocker because that wasn't really what was asked, but that was how Mr. Taylor processed through it. He created a program.
Ma'am,
So
I created a program, but it also was able to create the form too. That was it. It did both. It did the form and the program did the form. It did both. So it wasn't just the program. So there was both the evaluation that was created and the program. I just want clarification.
okay, so in November, I need to open up the minutes because we didn't ever approve what he did. We tabled it, and it was supposed to be brought back to the December meeting, and it never went anywhere. So, while I do believe that we need to move forward and continue with evaluation in March, I believe we can utilize what it is that Mr. Taylor created. On top of the fact, though, that what wasn't added into it were the goals that the board gave Mr. Taylor, because he came up with his own goals, and because they didn't align with what is required, we went through and created 3 or 4 different goals based off of the SIP plan that we felt he needed to accomplish. And so we said those were going to be the goals. Mr. Taylor said, well, he wanted his goals, and so then it's fine, you can have them all, but you need to meet the board's goals. So are we comfortable with just moving forward with what Mr. Taylor created, which I realize it's not attached to the agenda. There was miscommunication from me to the clerk, and so I did ask her to email it to everyone today. So that we have what was on the November 18th, 19th board meeting, and just, because this is just a FUBAR. I mean, it's a total FUBAR mess. And in all fairness, I don't think it would be appropriate to go ahead and draft a new evaluative form at this point in time. I think if we just use what he has and then, or what he's created and then fill in, and then we can pick it up again for next year so that it is more in alignment with what we're looking for.
Okay.
What does everybody else feel about that?
I'm fine with it.
Okay.
Sure.
Trustee Grissom.
So though that is the document that, the blank superintendent form that we received, that is the totality of the evaluation?
No, there's multiple questions in there.
If you,
I have all of them open, so I see the evaluation procedures, right, and then.
Trustee Grissom, the 1119 document, the first PDF on the email, is what was attached to the agenda, and it is a 37-page document, and it included his evaluation procedures that he was expecting, then his more procedures with the timeline, and then if you keep scrolling, There's goal setting and achievement, board relations, staff relations. There's this whole form. And then if you go down to page 9, there's goals. Now, there's nothing typed on here for goals. This is what was presented at the November 19th meeting.
I think that's the one I'm looking at, it's 23 pages.
Yep, that's the first one
Yeah.
that was, and then I believe Mr. Taylor gave to the clerk on their shared document the other two attachments, that came up, the superintendent evaluation procedures, and then the other one came up as a blank form, but it isn't,
pages.
yeah, it isn't blank, you have to kind of click, and I don't know why it's like that, other than,
It's just the formatting, Chairman. Also too, on the program, I'm able to put the 3 goals that I wrote, that the board's approved.
the board never approved those goals.
It's in the notes, it actually is, and I highlighted it. I'm just trying, I'm not gonna argue with it, I mean, it's absolutely, that's what I'm reading right here. Those 3 goals were approved. And if you don't want, I'm fine with that, it's okay, but I'm just trying to tell you that I'm just trying to follow what the board wanted.
Well, it was clarified that the SIP plan are the goals, so, and none of those
It
are
was,
in here.
it was,
Okay.
and that's in there too, but it was, and I think Trustee Thompson, you did a great job of explaining that it was the goals and the SIP plan that were also included. My concern about the SIP plan is most of those matrix are going to be coming, or those metrics, I should say, are going to be coming in well after the school year begins. September, is that right?
We should be able to have SIP data in late May, early June. Some of it will be preliminary.
So that would be my one concern is the SIP, and I'm perfectly fine with that. But again, the final data will probably be more like August, September, I would tell you, finalized. So it'll be hard to make, a decision on where I'm at with those particular metrics.
Okay, yeah, the only reason I brought it up is because that is in statute. The statute literally says that is what we're supposed to use. We can write whatever, add to, take away,
Absolutely.
extra things, but, so I'm just trying to figure out how we're going to incorporate that, but I guess we'll figure it out.
Well, my recommendation, and again, if you want it, is just on the document itself, the goals that I wrote will be inclusive of the evaluation, so you can evaluate me on my progress on those specific goals. And then after that, there are line items in regards to each area, leadership, communication, things like that. You guys can evaluate that. And then on the SIP, we can attach the SIP plan to the overall document.
Except the SIP plan is based on the ISAT and IRI.
Right.
Correct? So there is data that can be provided.
Yeah.
Respectfully, it's not the entire year,
Right.
but we can have a review of exactly where things stand for the entirety of where we're at.
Yes, ma'am.
So I don't think it's fair to say that it's, it can't be reviewed. It can. It just may not be
I
in.
said that, but like Mr. Massey said, that it would be preliminary information. And then you made a point today when reviewing the data that, again, to me, it's not complete, obviously. They're going through the process of evaluating and gathering data at this point, so it's not the end product. That was my only concern.
Okay, well, I guess we'll just have to fix it as we move on. Whatever we need to do, I don't want to hold this up, but whatever we need to do to move forward.
And I can put the document in multiple formats, just know that. I can put it in a PDF. I can also use the program if we choose to, or I can put it in a Google Sheet, whatever the board prefers.
Okay, so we will just move forward with the document that Rusty created, and we'll go from there. Now, we would be conducting the evaluation at the March 18th board meeting, which will be the second and regular board meeting.
Yeah.
Okay. So you want to jot that down?
She's got it, she's rocking, I can see it over here. And I should be able to give you access to the program tomorrow. I'll work it through Sarah, the clerk. All she does is just has to send it to you, and she would be basically the holder of all the information, which is all, I don't have any privy to that information.
Well, you have to send out surveys, correct?
Yeah, I'm sending out surveys. That's scheduled to go out March 2nd.
Okay.
And there's 2 sets of surveys in the procedures. First set of surveys is directors and principals. That information I want to share with the board, even the narratives, want to be fully transparent. The other set of surveys are just staff in general, and it's a much shorter, condensed survey, again, to gather information from everybody. And that one's for me, but yeah, that one's for me just so I can improve myself when it comes to the overall perception of the district and everything like that. It's more of me to improve myself. I think the directors and the principals' information will be, because I work with them on a regular basis, I think would be more appropriate.
Okay.
When you gather the information from the surveys that you send, is it anonymous information?
It is through SurveyMonkey. It is anonymous. Yep. It's the way I want it.
I was just curious. I didn't know
It's a
how
good
you
question.
were doing it.
Okay. All right, we'll move on to district office parking. I don't know if we need to create a policy or whatnot. I'm really bothered by the staff consuming the front of the district office, simply because when patrons need to come to the building, they have to hike in. And I don't think that is a good image for the taxpayers themselves. I mean, I just don't agree with it. I've never known any company that allows their employees to take up the prime spots so that, you know, their customers have to hike in.
You make a good point.
I just, that does not make any sense to me.
We'll make the adjustment.
Go ahead.
So previously, we made it a practice that we would keep the handicap parking in at least the first 3 slots here open.
Right.
We do take up some of this up front because we are so limited on parking between when we have John Brown and then we have other meetings and stuff like that. I mean, we do basically fill this up, but I agree, probably the handicap parking, and if we could maybe do at least 3 if you want to do.
Yeah, sounds like a good idea.
Just more parking only.
Yeah. Put the little signs out every day.
Watch them blow over.
Reserved for patrons.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so, yeah, if we can.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention. I appreciate it. Sure.
Yeah. And if we can respect the marker signs, that would be great. I mean, when it says it's reserved for the board member, please don't park there. Which the only time they come out is for a meeting. That's it. We have our dates to remember. State of the Community is tomorrow at 11:15. We have the workshop on March 4th on top of our meeting. And Long Range Planning is meeting on March 12th. Do we have any input for future agenda items?
We'll be just making clear on dates to remember. I'll be adding the March 11th principals and department heads meeting.
Yes.
Yeah.
State of Community is Chamber of Commerce meeting.
Correct.
Tomorrow.
It is the Chamber of Commerce meeting. It's titled State of the Community
Okay.
because all the hoopla comes in and shares their good news. Okay.
I have a quick question. Do you know off the top of your head, since you created it, where trying to fit in where we might be able to utilize your tool and still enter in the progress and all that? and
Yeah,
the-
there's a.
Is there a place on there like?
Yeah, there's, the really cool thing about the tool is that, and you're saying under each category, can I see it right quick?
Well, it's in the statute, it just says that, in 3320, I don't have it pulled up here, let me grab it. So 3320.
The really cool thing, I can add whatever you guys feel like you need.
Okay, yeah, there's, we just have to have a place to log that.
There's multiple places to
Okay.
comment, I promise.
Okay.
And then the really cool thing is, all you have to do is tell me, but you have to, once it's set, and you guys decide on working on it, I can't add any additional boxes or anything, it jacks up the formatting, so just know.
Well, typically, the board does the review together, so I'm real curious how this is going to work.
Okay.
But,
Well, it could be where it's just you with the one, with the evaluation up, selected, and you just fill in the information. You could do it that way too.
Okay.
So here's what it says, and it's, if you want it for it's 33-320, and it is, part of it is D, just says the Board of Trustees shall continuously monitor progress towards the goals by utilizing relevant data, blah, blah, blah. The progress shall be included in evaluations of the district superintendent.
Yep. And there is.
Or public charter.
You'll see, and
Okay.
when she sends it off tomorrow, you can see there's multiple drop-downs to
Okay.
evaluate that
Okay,
progress.
all right, perfect.
All right, so on that note, I need a motion to enter into executive session pursuant to Idaho Code 742061.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. We need a roll call vote.
Trustee Bain?
Yes.
Trustee Broadhead?
Yes.
Chair Thompson?
Yep.
Trustee Quimby?
Yes.
Vice Chair
Yes.
Grissom?
On that note, it is 8:21, and we will take a 5-minute recess, and then we'll go into executive.
Okay.
Go ahead and hit the...
There we go.
Okay, so we've come out of executive session. It is now 10:10, and the meeting is adjourned. There is no action to be taken.